Hello, everyone. Is it possible that we could get to $250 a barrel oil, which could mean we could get to $9 per gallon gasoline and even higher prices for diesel? And that's not even talking about California, New York, and other places where these prices are higher. So we could be looking at people experiencing incredibly difficult choices they have to make in order to get to work, what to do about groceries, what to do about, vacations and travel. So anyway, if you take a look at the screen, you see like different fill up costs at $9 per gallon gasoline. So these are top selling vehicles. We have the Toyota Corolla at $117, going up to the Ram 3500 heavy duty pickup at $279. And in between, we have the Toyota Avalon at $142. We have the Chevy Tahoe, $216. The Ford F-150, very popular pickup, $270 to fill the tank. So we're looking at extremely high prices and difficult choices that the consumers will have to make. And this could lead to an incredible nightmare for not only consumers, but also just for the whole economy. And so we could see that many workers could shift back to remote or hybrid work. Some companies can't operate that way. They have to have the employees at work. So then what are they going to do if the employees can't afford to drive to work? What happens then? What adjustments are they going to make? Schools and colleges moving more to online formats. We have graduations coming up in a couple of months. Are those going to be canceled? Are they going to be online? What's going to happen? That's just in case gasoline goes to $9 a gallon. We could have, this hybrid classes at middle schools and high schools. That was a very bad experience for a lot of kids, and so many schools would not like to go back to that whole experience of just online learning, the isolation, the loneliness, the possibility of depression among teenage kids and middle school kids who are sitting at home and with no parents, and this just could lead to all kinds of problems if it is extended over a long period of time. So we're basically going back into kind of a COVID-like situation, but without people being sick. So go back to another consequence here, a major drop in domestic travel, things like road trips, summer vacations, visits to national parks. Tourist towns and roadside economies would be hit severely. We would see a lot of businesses closing, probably a lot of mom and pop businesses. So we have here restaurants and retail chains closing. We would think about Chili's, Applebee's, possibly Cracker Barrel, restaurants like that. These casual dining chains that have prices just a little bit above McDonald's or Chick-fil-A. So then we think about just the overall travel industry. So that is air travel with high airfare costs. Now think of the round-trip tickets to fly to Europe. Now are around 1,500 or so round trip. Some places it's a little less, some places it's more. And then think about that multiplying by 3 or 4. So let's say $5,000 or so for a round trip ticket to fly to Europe, and then you have 4 or 5 members of your family. Are you going to be able to afford that? Then you have to get all the other expenses covered: hotels, transportation, food, entry costs into museums and parks and historical centers. So, you could see a crash in the travel industry. Then you can think about the higher food prices and how that would impact the groceries. So people would be buying less food. Probably some of these supermarkets would go under. Some of these that aren't that popular. So the ones that would do better probably would be like the Lidl or Aldi's, or some of the higher end, small, specialized grocery stores with a smaller footprint and fewer employees, smaller overhead. So then you can think about the possibility of its impact on the real estate market if there is an economic crash. Of course, real estate prices could crash, but if we have a high inflation, then that could mean that the homes would still increase in price, but there would be fewer sales, and that could impact that sector quite a bit. And we think about the surge in demand for fuel efficient cars. Well, you could think about a crash in the auto industry, all the bailouts that would need to take place for the big automakers located, the traditional automakers like Ford, Chevrolet, etc. So, and the rise in fuel efficient cars, possibly the move to the allow in BYD from China to offset the demand for electric vehicles. And we saw that BYD has improved its battery. It now has a new battery that can charge from 0 to 70% in 5 minutes. So you could have your battery charged faster than you could fill a tank, which could be quite amazing. And finally, we have this squeeze on small businesses. So we can think about people who drive Ubers, people who have eBay stores, people who make things at home, sell and ship them. Because shipping now has gone up quite a bit. Now multiply that by 3 or 4 times, where would we go? So many sellers would be paying, would have products for sale, $5, $8, and then people would be paying $30 or $25 for shipping. So that wouldn't make much sense, and I don't think those sales would go very well. So then you can think about people who are buying fabric or buying raw materials to make products and then sell them. So the small businesses would be hit extremely hard. Possibly the larger businesses could keep a better control on their expenses and manage that better. So anyway, what does this all mean? Well, it means for President Trump that he could have a higher inflation than, guess who? President Joe Biden. So imagine that. President Trump could be competing with President Biden for inflation. So I believe the highest inflation rate under President Biden was 9.1 or 9.2%. And so if President Trump were to get $250 a barrel oil, we could be seeing 10% inflation or more. And then if you start to get collapses in the economy, we could see a much wider impact on the economy. So anyway, I will close up that video there. And so this nightmare is coming unless they fix that whole situation in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is something that most people are not prepared for and are not ready for. Municipalities, states, the federal government, they're not ready for this. So this is going to be a moment of panic for consumers, for government, for businesses, like you've never seen before. And so let's hope it doesn't get there, but it's certainly heading in that direction. So I will let you go and see you back for the next one. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Take care. Bye-bye.